Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are charged because we are going to have a fantastic session with Chanakya Reborn. And I have a notice and disclaimer today. If you listen to him, if you understand him, when you absorb it mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you will get addicted to him. So if you are addicted to his thoughts, his talks, his books, his videos, don't hold me responsible, because he is extremely addictive. And I am very, very proud and take great honor in welcoming Dr. Radhakrishna Pillai, a living legend, here with us on Getting Candid. Namaskar, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta ji. It's an honor to be on your show. The reason is that you're such an inspiration for all of us, which includes me. So, you're a doctor, I'm a doctor, but the kind of work that you are doing will put every doctor to get inspired. So thank you, Sangeeta ji, for making me part of your show. It's your show, and I'm just going to be candid with you, as you rightly pointed out. And please ask those questions which will be also inspiring for me. And I'm also going to ask you some questions because you're already an inspiration for me. Thank you, Sangeeta ji.
Thank you. Thank you. God is kind. And I will just, I think he needs no introduction. But for the people who are not updated a bit here, he is a PhD from Mumbai University. He has done extensive research on Kautilya's Arthashastra under the guidance of Dr. Gangadharan Nair. He is also a MA in Sanskrit. He's got 25 years of experience. He is a leadership speaker, trainer, and mentor, written more than 15 books, all connected to Chanakya Niti, Chanakya principles, Chanakya leadership, you name it, for the young, for the old, and he's even started some books for children. I wish I was a kid so that I would have learned and become more wiser. Yeah, Dr. Pillai, you started it very late. Then he's also the Deputy Director of Chanakya International Institute of Leadership Studies. He is a TEDx speaker, multiple awards, and his books are all best-selling books. You must have definitely read Corporate Chanakya for sure, and you must have seen it in every bookstore. His books are so famous and so renowned that they are also used as textbooks in business schools in India and abroad. So I present to you the living legend once again. And any topic you have, which you think you will not be able to find from a mentor or guru around you, from an institute or setup around you, please feel free to ask. It is not every day that we will be able to connect with him. So hope you join us and enjoy this session with wisdom. So my first question, we had this topic of tough times and taking the right decision. But according to you, what is better? To take a decision and make it right, or to take the right decision after analyzing? What do you think?
So I think you have asked a very interesting question. It's about the decision right or wrong. But I will give another answer. Not taking a decision is the worst. So sometimes we overanalyze right and wrong, good and bad, and don't take a decision. I would say that sometimes a wrong decision is better than no decision. So in life, it's very important to take the right decisions. But many times we don't know, and it is called as dharma sankat. What to do and what not to do is the question. It's a very famous Shakespearean saying that what to do and what not to do. So I think everybody has this question at any point in their life, at some point in their life. And it is there in human history. But the worst is not to take a decision and just end up in status quo. So friends, I would say is that, ideally take a right decision. And there is a process to that also. So, Chanakya has spoken about not just taking a right decision, but how to take a right decision. At the end of it, please take a decision. Because not taking a decision is worst, and that is dangerous also.
Right. So sitting on the fence will not help because you are not going to move. And
Yes.
if you're not moving, you're not doing anything, there is no
Correct.
growth, no spirit, no life, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
take a call. And I
Yes.
think every person wants to take the right decision. So as long as you are legal,
Yes.
you are not harming anybody, and at the
Yes.
end of the day, you will be
Yes.
proud of yourself,
Yes.
correct? Take a
Yes.
decision. So thank you. I'll
Yes.
move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Sometimes some people find their passion very early in life. There are kids who are wonderful singers, there are kids who are wonderful authors very early in life,
Yeah.
and some people spend a lifetime searching their passion. So I think, example, I think I'm good at A, B, C, D. So how will I find my passion?
Yeah. So I think you're right. Some people find it early in their life. Some people find it late in their life. And the worst category is they never find it in their life.
Hmm.
So I think it's okay to find it early or late, but please find it. Okay. So it's important. Otherwise, it's like another purposeless living. You know,
Hmm.
man is supposed to be one of the blessed species. There's some 84 million species, all those things, but it's only human beings can actually, somebody is as a species or as a creation of God, can do something
Hmm.
which is phenomenal. They can contribute
Hmm.
to the society and leave the world better than what they found. See, the
Hmm.
nature works on certain cycles and certain natural principles. Okay,
Hmm.
human
Hmm.
beings can actually study those principles and actually do something better. But if you
Right.
don't find anything, then you are status quo. For example, the honeybee comb. Okay, have you seen the design? It's beautiful, right? Hexagonal
Yes.
shape. But for
Right.
thousands of years, the honeybee is still continuing doing the same hexagonal shape. It never
True.
innovates. It never creates. And the same honeybee is pulled by human beings like us. It collects honey from every flower. It's a lot of effort. And some hunter comes in and takes away the honey. And
Right.
honey never
Right.
thinks about innovation, innovation, innovation. So my question is that how do you know what you're good at? Okay.
Hmm.
And suppose you're
Hmm.
good at two, three things, and how do you find which is the best thing? So I'll tell you
Hmm.
how. First
Hmm.
thing is that keep that question in my mind that I want to
Hmm.
do something beyond some selfish agenda or goals. So your
Hmm.
purpose should not be my goal. Okay. So my is okay, but it should not be only
Hmm.
driven to I, me, myself.
Hmm.
So when
Hmm.
you actually want to do something bigger in life, if you want to contribute, it has to be a little bit of a selfless. Of course, every
Hmm.
human being can't be 100% selfless, because it starts with the first step, of course, and the ultimate, the spiritual level, are totally selfless. But remember one thing, if you do something, be at least thinking about some goodness for others. So like what you are
Right.
doing. Sangeeta, I am really inspired by the kind of work you are doing, guiding the youngsters. So that's not something that you are doing it for yourself. You're contributing. And that's inspiring me also. Now, coming back, how do you find it and how early can you find it? Okay.
Right.
So let me
Right.
tell you the process of how to find it.
Yes.
Especially with kids, okay, you
Hmm.
don't have maturity, okay,
Hmm.
to understand what is my purpose of my life or what we call the passion in my life. So
Right.
usually it is the parents or maybe the teachers
Hmm.
or the elders who will be able to point it out. But initially,
Hmm.
what happens? It is pointing out a specific talent in a child. Okay.
Correct.
So,
Hmm.
they say, okay, he's good in mathematics or he's good in dance. Or he's good in XYZ. So, if you're able to have a family or maybe
Hmm.
kind of a teachers or any community
Hmm.
who can actually point out, ki ye bacha, this child is good at something like this, then I
Hmm.
think that's a good start. I'll give you a simple
Hmm.
example. There is a student, a friend of mine, and we used to study together. And when he was in first standard, okay, think about it, maybe 5 years old. So he
Hmm.
used to draw a little bit.
Hmm.
Okay, and his teacher, our teacher, maybe class teacher, actually called up his parents, and I'm talking about so many years ago, and said, your son is extremely good at drawing. It's a natural talent. Please encourage him.
Hmm.
The child
Hmm.
for him, first standard child, he may not even know what is good and bad. He don't even know what is a natural talent. But
Hmm.
somewhere the parents understood it. That the teacher has told it is not appreciation, it's going beyond the thing. So teacher
Hmm.
understand, out of 60 students, this person has got an extra talent. So
Correct.
maybe somebody's a sports person, somebody's good. This child is extremely good in drawing. Now what happened? This parent took it very seriously. Okay, and they kept that in their mind. And
Hmm.
even though the child became bigger and bigger, they encouraged. And of course, it's a
Hmm.
natural talent. It grew with time. Now,
Right.
interestingly, what happened? This particular child, when it went, he was not sure because somewhere he never understood that it can actually become the purpose of my life. It's still,
Right. Right.
because during our days, we said, becoming a doctor or an engineer is a big thing. So actually he completed his engineering, okay? But his parents always kept telling, remember the teacher, remember the teacher. So in engineering, he was very good in drawing engineering, okay? Later on, he actually became an architect. And today, you'd be surprised, 9 out of 10 malls that you see in India, 9 out of 10, okay? Be it, R Mall in Bombay, as you say, or maybe, all the D Marts, okay? 9 out of 10 malls are designed by him, okay?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And he's among the top mall experts. If you look at it, the theaters that we have, maybe all that multiplexes that you see, 9 out of 10. So that's not a small number. So think about it. Sometimes you don't know what you're good at, but somebody else can tell you, okay? So lucky are the few who actually get it early in their life. But now, if you are in the thinking age, so after maybe 5-10 years, you start thinking, start analyzing. And today's generation does over-analysis, and they're multiple talented. Okay, so I've seen students actually thinking about a career in sports even when they're in 7th standard, and they're very clear. Okay, so I'm not saying that everybody is just dreaming ideas. So I remember Abdul Kalam sir telling that everybody should dream. So initially, when you're small, I want to become a pilot. Now that's a dream. But as you grow bigger, it becomes actually a goal. So what is the difference between a dream and a goal? A dream is like a wish. But when along with the wish, you put a will, then it actually becomes a goal. So I want to become a pilot can be a wish for a small child. But I want to become a pilot and I'll do engineering or analytical engineering. I will go for a course. That becomes something which is a will. So coming back, you can ask yourself, okay, and saying that maybe I like 1, 2, 3. In the first stages, it is an experiment, okay, because you try 10 things. It's like a buffet dinner, okay. So you try this and that, and thanks to our parents, today's especially the educated moms, they want the children to do anything and everything. They said, okay, go for a tabla class, go for a dance class, go for a drawing class, and go for a space class also. So in the lockdown period, my children actually attended a course on spacecrafts, especially from NASA. So you think, so initially, to find your purpose, it could be an exploration. And then it so happens that, you find 2, 3 things which is close to you. Okay.
True.
And then if you take it very seriously, you can actually not only be passionate about it, you can not only be purposeful about it, but you can actually create a profession out of it. So it is a purpose, it is a passion, and it can become a profession. I would suggest everybody to read this book, okay? And I'm sure everybody knows about it. It's called Ikigai. Okay? It's called Finding Your Ikigai, and it's a Japanese concept. But in India also the concept is that it's called finding your Swadharma, what you are naturally gifted, talented. And here is the good news that you don't have to be talented in one space. You can be multi-talented. Okay. And I know of people who do multiple things. Like I've been blessed, I do so many activities. I'm an author. And okay, by the grace of God, I'm India's #1 business author. I run businesses. I'm an academician. I run a university. I run an academy in the Mumbai University. So I'm almost like a principal of a college. Of course, a small college, So I think somewhere we have to break that mindset that you can only do one thing in your life. You can do multiple things, but you should also know what is that one common thing in everything that you do. For example, I do everything, but everything is connected to Chanakya. Okay. If I read books, if I'm teaching, it's Chanakya. If I'm doing something, so I do a lot of business consultations, business coaching, Chanakya. So somewhere, you have to allow yourself that particular time to introspect, what we call as soul searching. And don't worry, if it takes a little bit of a few years more, it's okay. But finally, the day you find your purpose, it hits you. It comes you like a spark. Like Mahatma Gandhi found his purpose when he actually got pushed away from the train. The moment of inspiration. And then the life is transformed. So pray to God, soul search, but find a purpose in your life. You will be a different person altogether.
Perfect. Well said. So you should have a wish and a will. That is when it becomes a goal. And when you have passion, when you have purpose, if you work on it, you escalate to a level where it can become your profession, then you are just successful and you have it all, right? I'll move on to something which, because we are addressing youth in the age group of 20 to 30, I would like to share a question where I have a quote by your and my favorite Swami Chinmayananda Swamiji. The youth are not useless. They are used less. They are not careless. They are cared for less.
Yes.
So, what would you like to say are the traits of Indian youth actually?
Okay. Sangeeta, you asked a very, very important question. And in fact, I remember this year itself, 12th of January, okay, which is the National Youth Day. It is actually the birthday of Swami Chinmayananji. I was called to Surat and I got a very big award in a stadium that also. There were almost like, 50,000 young boys and girls sitting in the stadium. And I got a National Youth Award. And so, of course, it was from the Ramakrishna Mission, the people who are taking the vision of Swami Vivekananda forward. So the same thing which I told them, I'm going to tell you as an answer of your question. I told them that, youth is there in every country. Okay, so I think you go to any nation, there will be youth because it's a natural process. Somebody who is born, and I think there are children born in every part of the world, right? And when they become 18, 19, they become adults, then they become youth. So I told them there is one thing unique about Indian youth. Okay, so if there is an American youth, of course, he's also youth. If there is a Canadian or a Japanese youth or in any particular country, you're a youth because that's almost defined as an age. Right. But if you are, let's say in India, and if you're from 20 to 30 years, as you rightly pointed out, are you an Indian youth? I would say no. Okay. So we always say that Indian oil. Okay. I work with that company. They have a tagline. Pehle Indian, fir oil. So I would say if you're talking about Indian oil, pehle Indian, fir oil. If you're talking about Indian youth, you have to understand what does it defines to be Indian, and then you are a youth. Okay. So I was telling them Indian youth has to be different from the other parts of the world. So what do you define? There's 3 qualities that you should have. Number first is that you need to have respect for your tradition. Okay. Respect, like, many times we do have respect, but that becomes more ritualistic. Okay. We don't understand the Indian culture. Okay. So in every house, there could be a puja vidhi. Okay. So that, and let me tell you very clearly, puja vidhi for me doesn't mean only your religion. So for you, Hindu, Christian, or anybody for that matter, Muslim or Jewish, there are Indian Jewish youth also. But when it comes to geographical era Indian culture, for us, it's beyond. We always say that, there is something bigger than us, that is God. Okay. So the first thing is there is a tradition which is there. And the first quality is that we respect that tradition. And in typically one word, if I look, there is a Guru Sishya Parampara. There is a family Parampara. So Indian used to understand that you don't start with 0. Okay. So in the American youth, the moment you're 18 years old, tata, you have to go away from your house. And once in a year, you remember Mother Day or Father Day. Okay. But in India, even if you're 50 years old, if your father is still around, your mother is still around, you're still a child. Right. So the first thing about an Indian youth is to respect the tradition, which means first respecting your family. Okay, I would talk from the Upanishads, since you mentioned about Swami Chinmayananji, So he gives 6 commandments to children when they will become youth. So it's an organization and Chinmaya Mission we have for the Bal Vihar, and then they become Yuva Kendra, right? Right. In both Bal Vihar and Yuva Kendra for the youth, he used to say 6 commandments. Like how Bible we have 10 commandments. So he says, right. He made those 6 commandments. He said Satyam Vada. Okay, you should be honest. Okay, Dharmam Chara, do your duty. Matru Devo Bhava, respect your mother. Pitru Devo Bhava, okay, respect your father. Acharya Devo Bhava, respect your teachers. And Atiti Devo. So if you look at it, this is the first quality that, I will speak the truth. So, honesty is not just the best policy, as we say. This is not just the best policy, it's a way of life. And Ramayana says about it, saying that, Ragukula Rita Sada Chiliyai Prana Jai Par Vachana Na Jai. So, don't just give it away with something loosely. If you say something, you mean it. And if you said something, do it. That's a quality of Indian. So, Dharmam Chara, follow the duty, what we call a Swadharma, or finding your Ekagai. So, find a purpose. Second is Matru Devo Pitru, respect your parents, your teachers, and also the outsiders who come to seek help. So, that's the first thing. Indian youth has to follow its tradition. It's a responsibility. And again, quoting Swami Chinmayananji, he used to tell something very profound. He used to say that every generation has got 2 things to do. Continue what is good of the past and discontinue what is not relevant. So, every youth has this energy level, okay, to, start having, I want to change, I want to do something. Yeah, but first study your past. The second quality of the youth is that, do something creative, but without losing your tradition, okay? One of my teachers used to tell, saying the Britishers left us and we became Americans. We truly never became Indians. So in Indian youth also is very creative and energetic, like any other country. But what happens is it is with tradition. The second quality comes with tradition. And the third quality, and I would say the most important quality, is following spirituality. So friends, let us forget that Indian youth is defined by his spiritual values, or her spiritual values. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, that spirituality is the very foundations, where the essence of India. And the youth doesn't become spiritual, then you're not a youth. You're like any other country. You can become an activist. Please, again, I'll quote Swami Vivekananda because his birthday is National Youth Day. And he died before he reached 40 at 39. So he used to tell, and look at his own life. He's very logical, English educated, world traveled. Okay. So don't look at him as just another monk, highly intellectual, scientific. But remember one thing, you find all the three qualities in him. First of all, he respected the tradition. His mother was a great teacher. That's a teacher in the sense, not professionally. Mother was the one who gave spiritual advice. Then he was rational with his guru, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And of course, he was highly spiritual, logical. And if you're not spiritual, logical, and traditional, then probably you are yet another youth, but not an Indian youth. So derive these qualities, you will become a successful Indian youth. Thank you.
Perfect. I think that was brilliant, talking about honesty, duty, respecting not just the people, but your traditions as well. So to just sum it up, you have to respect yourself. That is why keep your word. If you say it, then you have to respect others, whether they are your parents, your guru, or your atithi, and then be responsible. I think respecting yourself, respecting others, your traditions, and being responsible, being rational, I think will take care of everything. Very beautiful commandments. Thank you for sharing with us. Now you mentioned guru. So there is always a confusion. Who should be our guru? How do we pick the right guru? And do we actually need a guru or mentor in our life? And if we do, why?
Okay. So let me clarify some terminologies. Okay. So when you sign in a legal document, first they define each term, and then they say, this. So let us look at three words. Okay. Word number one, it's a teacher. Then what you mentioned is guru. And the third is mentor. Okay. So let me first of all start with mentor, teacher, and then I'll talk about guru. Okay. And then if guru is required or not. Let me tell you that a mentor is required in every field. For example, let's say you are playing cricket, right? You require a cricket coach or a mentor. Isn't it true? So anything that you do, directly, indirectly, you will require. For example, if you're cooking, right? So you require somebody who will mentor you. So it's generally typically your mother or your grandmother, so you've done it. So every field requires a mentor. Every field. Okay. So with sports, with business. So I'm a business mentor, as you call it. Who is a mentor? He will handhold you in the process. So suppose you're cooking food for the first time, you don't know. So mother will tell you, okay, this is how you put on the stove. This is how you put the tadka. This is how you serve. So mentor is part of the process. Okay. He will handhold you. So I'll tell you, if you want to be successful, have a mentor. And I'm sure, Sangeeta ji, you told me the other day, you actually put all the youth to get mentored by somebody in the first 1 year. I think, understand that is a sea change. Whatever you do, if you don't have a mentor, then it is like, as we say in a local Hindi, khayali pulao. I think I'm making a great pulao. But really, if you have a mentor, he will teach you to make the best pulao. So mentor is required in every field. It doesn't matter which field you are. It could be, making a small dish at home or playing sports. Mentor is definitely required. And the Western world has got a lot of concepts of mentoring, process-wise. Now we come to the next term, which is called teacher. Usually, we understand teacher from what we come across in schools and colleges. And as you know, a teacher is a subject expert of a particular. For example, there's a history teacher, and there's a geography teacher, and a science teacher, a mathematics teacher. So usually, suppose you want to study mathematics. In the beginning, okay, there will be a class teacher who will teach you every subject. But as you go higher and higher, you require a specialist teacher. So depending on your field, you will require those particular teacher. Okay. For example, I want to learn music, maybe tabla or playing flute or singing for that matter. I require that specialist teacher. Okay? So I can't expect my history teacher to teach me tabla. Okay. No, of course, he may be good at tabla also, but I know that basically his teaching is in the field of history. So you have to choose your teachers depending on the subject that you want to specialize in. Okay. But again, teacher is also a mentor. But 99% what happens is that a teacher that we know in our generation is almost like an academic teacher, he will only guide you. So that is one type of a thing. So now I come to the third word, and that is guru.
Right.
In the traditional Indian, guru is not a very loose word, okay? There are categories in that also. So one is called acharya. So that is what we call as teachers, Acharya is a subject teacher. But usually the word guru in our Indian tradition was used for Satguru, okay? So like Satguru is actually the guru who takes you to Sata, which means the truth. So he's a spiritual guru. Now, interestingly, the teacher can be an acharya and a guru. So, for example, I'm teaching history. Okay, that's a teacher or an acharya. But through history, I can help you reach God. Oh, so in our system, you'll be surprised. Every teacher in every gurukul used to teach the subject plus God. So, for example, if you have gone to a gurukul where you want to specialize in dance, my wife is a Bharatanatyam teacher. Okay. But they don't say you have to be the best Bharatanatyam teacher to get some award in some TV show. Or it is not performing arts. They say through this art, you will finally reach God. Think about it, Kama Sutra, a subject which is so much debated and not even discussed in India. It says it starts with the physical, but it reaches the divine. Prakriti Purusha. Mathematics teacher will teach you maths, Ganitaha, Sankhya, numbers. But at the end of it, he'll make you reach from zero to infinity. Wow. So our education culture was that every teacher, every acharya was also a guru who will take you to God through the various subjects. And you can choose the subject, a dance and arts and the science also was spirituality in our country. Now, coming back to summarizing this, so please have mentors. Without a mentor, don't do anything. Chanakya says this, experts will get it. Teachers, if you want to get educated, they are the right method, and you choose your teachers also carefully. But let me tell you, finally, if you look at the Satguru, he or she is only one. And don't worry, he has already chosen you. When the time comes, he will arrive. Okay. So the reality is that when you look at your life from a spiritual standpoint, he will come on his own or she will come. It's nature's God. When finally you have to reach to that highest spiritual level, he will arrive on your doorstep. I'll give you one example. Hanumanji, okay? He actually went to Lanka. And in Lanka, even though it is Ravan and Rakshas Rajya, there was Vibhishana, who was a Ram Bhakta. But he could never meet Ram, okay? It is said that Hanumanji, when he went to Lanka to look at Sita, he actually knocked at the door of Vibhishan at 4 o'clock in the morning. Vibhishan had no chance to have a guru, okay? And Ram anyway, but he knocked and saying that, here I am. And it is Hanumanji who is supposed to be Vibhishana's guru. So don't wait for the world to come to you or the guru or to, don't try to search a guru. Become a good student and a spiritual seeker. Believe me, this is universal law, nature's law. Guru will come, mentors are required, and teachers are available. Thank you so much.
Whoa. That was so beautifully, clearly, concisely, accurately expressed. Fantastic. I think there will be no confusion understanding what is a mentor, teacher, and a guru henceforth. Thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Absolutely brilliant. So I got a notification that there are many people who have joined us. So thank you, Pai sir. Thank you, Pai Raikar sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Shubhangi Tirodkar madam. Thank you, Mr. Avinash. Thank you, Jai Singh sir. Thank you, Bhavna. Thank you, Namita. Thank you, Kalpana. Hello, Bipin. Hello, Yogesh. Thank you for the questions. Thank you, Ms. Gomti. And thank you, Neha. Great, great, great. I will be asking questions. Sir, there is a compliment for you. Your book, Chanakya in You, is a beautifully structured story studied with positive and useful values that guide us all through the different phase of life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Gomti. Thank you. A compliment from Neha. Thank you for all the knowledge on Chanakya. Your books have inspired a lot to youth like me. How can one get enrolled into Chanakya Institute of Public Leadership and become someone similar to you? If you could suggest some steps which could help youth of India start on a similar path which you have taken. I think there is a question and a compliment. So would you like to answer that? From Neha.
Thanks for the compliment. I'm humbled. It's all my teachers' grade, guru's grace, and of course, all my mentors. Now, coming back to two things, you said is how do you join the Chanakya Institute, and second is one is how do I become like you? So I should say the second answer first. You should become better than me. Okay, you should not try to become like me, because that will be limiting. And it is told, that a father will be happy when the child becomes better than the father, right? So if you actually learn from me, if you're inspired from me, my request to you is that, keep me as a benchmark if you want to, but don't be like me, be better than me. Because, every generation should make it better. Like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, so he was there, but he was in Kolkata, Dakshineshwar, right? So, but Swami Vivekananda took that knowledge and put it globally. So I'll tell you the process of how I became whatever in the field of Chanakya, and you should take it forward. So let me tell you the process.
Yes.
Every generation should continue what the teachers have done and leave it better. Okay. So Swami Chinmayananji, again I'm quoting, every generation should take it forward. So what is the process? What did I do? I followed some natural traditional principles. The first thing is that you have to choose your field. And as I told you, sometimes you choose the field, sometimes the field chooses you. So that is also true. So for me, to be very frank, Chanakya was not the aim in my life. And if you ask my father, especially in the young days, 20s and 30s, I was a very average boy. Okay. And my father used to always tell ye mera beta, ye kitab likhta hai. He's very successful. Of course, he's a writer and all his blessings. But one day he told me, to my students, he actually told in the university. I remember Dr. Rajesh was there in the group, and he actually told all my students saying that, to be very frank, the only expectation that I had from my son is that, study well, get married. Even if he finds a good wife, that itself is a great thing. So he never thought, and to be very frank, I never thought that, I'll be a world-renowned author, traveling across so many countries across the globe. Never thought about it. So I'll tell you the process to it. And believe me, it is not whether you're ordinary or you're born from a normal place. Everybody can be extraordinary if he follows the process that I have followed. Process number one is to study a lot. Okay. And studying doesn't mean giving exams. Okay. Now, please let us, unfortunately in India, the education system has become an examination system, right? We study for the exams. Right. So this is something we have to look at. I also studied, but I was studying more non-textbooks than actually books. I used to spend a lot of time in my library, in my college. So, my librarian used to fall in love with me, saying that here is a guy who comes and reads more self-help books, more spiritual books, and less of textbooks. But I was a good student, if not the best student. Okay? So one is very important, that I had developed the habit of reading a lot. And that's a habit that everybody should have as a nation. And today books are available in India at a very, very affordable cost. So if you look at my book, this is my most famous book, Corporate Chanakya. And if you look at Chanakya in You, that's what you said, this is my latest book, Chanakya Niti. Okay. And then, of course, for the students and the youth, there is Chanakya in You, what you said, ma'am. Of course, Chanakya in the classroom. See, the best part is that all these books are, available in less than 300 rupees. And if you go to Flipkart, Amazon, you can buy it at maybe 100 rupees less, So money is not a problem. But even if you can afford, people don't read books. There was a survey that was saying like 93% of books sold in India are still textbooks. So that means people don't have wide variety of reading. We read for the sake of exam. So there's a joke. There's a very fat book, okay, and there were three boys or three youth, I would say. They were standing, and the person asked, okay, this is a fat book. It is almost 1,000 pages, okay. So he asked the first boy, so how much time do you think you will require to read this book? So he just goes, 1 month, I can finish all this book, talking good speed. As the next child, saying, okay, boy, how much time do you think you'll require to read this book? So he looked at it and said, I'm a fast reader. I can finish it off in 1 week. Oh, good. He has a third boy, and saying that, how much time do you think? He just looked at it and saying, exam kab hai? I will open the book when the exam period comes. So if it is 2 days away, I'll finish it off in 2 days. So generally, the way we look at our education system, it is not about, acquiring knowledge or interest in the book. It is only for the sake of giving. And we have an interesting parallel education system called the coaching classes, right? They prepare you for exams, not for the exam of life. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing I have written is that, I studied a lot, I read a lot, and I've done so many courses. I'm still studying. After my PhD, I'm doing my DLit. So at this age, I'm a formal student of Mumbai University. Even though at one end I'm a director, I'm a formal student. So study, read a lot. First step, which I did. Second, I think I already gave the answer. Find your teachers, mentors, and gurus. I've been fortunate to be in Chinmaya Mission. I have my teachers of Arthashastra. I studied the 6,000 sutras, and other teachers. When I did my PhD, I did my MA in Sanskrit, I did my MBA. Everything I did, so I kept studying under the guidance of teachers. Don't read a book and give an exam. Your teachers will give you the small little tips, which is beyond textbooks. So teacher matters, and you should have that Shraddha in the teacher also. The Bhagavad Gita says, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Jnanam is knowledge. Who acquires knowledge? Not the studious. Shraddhavan, have faith in your teachers. Have Shraddha. A lot of people look at teachers as a commodity, a service, as they call it, We should be serving the teacher. The teacher is not giving us service, Today, many schools call their students as customers. Oh, how can you call your students as customers? As if you're giving a service providing organization. Anyway, serve your teacher, study, and most important, very important is that do research. Studying is one part, you'll get a degree, but research. So I did a lot of research. So how did I become a specialist? Don't leave the field, even if there are challenges. I've been in the Chanakya field for the last 20 years. When you look at a lot of people, for many people, Chanakya would have been an idea, but it became an idea for life. So if you choose a path, stick to it. Otherwise, you will keep jumping from one field to another, and finally you will be nowhere. So this is about, if you want to dig a well, find out the place and then dig it. Otherwise, you will keep digging everywhere and finally no water. So you have to choose and commit. Otherwise, Chanakya, if you look at it, it's an open source knowledge. It is not my property. Anybody can read it. Anybody. But what makes me different is that basically I've stuck. So everybody calls me Chanakya, Radhakrishna Pillai. Now that is not me. It can be you also. So you have to be in that particular field for a long period of time. So the three formula of how I became successful. Number one, I read a lot. You also read a lot. Study a lot under your guidance of your teachers. Very important. Do research on it. And finally, stick to that particular field for a long period of time. Only then you'll become an expert. Now, coming back to the Mumbai University, okay. So we have a very interesting, the world's first institution, okay, under the Mumbai University, which offers leadership as a subject. Very important to know, like if you look about 50 years ago, we had a new subject in India. It is called management. Okay. So we have in Mumbai also, our Mumbai University, as you know, has got almost 800 colleges. It's an affiliated model. So in our Mumbai University, we have two big campuses. Actually, there are four, but just to give you since Mumbai, one is the Rajabai Tower, that is called the Fort Campus, and Kalina Campus, where and there are Sindhudurg also. It is there. We have a campus. Then we have in Thana also. But coming back, so there are many colleges and departments. So one of them is a management, which is Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies, and they have Alkesh Dinesh Modi. But that's such teaching management. But fortunately, 4 years ago, we started saying that a leadership is what we should inculcate. So all of you should think yourself as leaders. But is there a science to it? Is there a process to it? And there is a process. Like if you want to become a manager, there is a course, right? So if you want to be a leader, there is a course. And we started this Chanakya International Institute of Leadership Studies. It is a 2-year postgraduate degree in leadership science. A lot of people who join this are already, very matured. So my classroom is from 21 years to 64 years students. So, sometimes the teacher can be younger than you also. So I'm fortunate to see a 60-year-old student sitting with, and they have the same course. How you're going to join is that, please get in touch with me. Sangeeta ji, you can give the number of mine to everyone. It's a 2-year commitment, but the good news is that it is a weekend course. So you can work, and if you prefer working people. Because only working people will understand what is leadership. Otherwise, it will become very theoretical.
True.
So we have it on Saturday, Sunday lectures and application in your workplace throughout the week. So we see the theory. It's a 2-year commitment. But don't worry. It's all matured people who don't just study for exams, but they study for knowledge. So the next batch will start once the lockdown opens out, maybe around in September. I will drop my message to all of you. Sangeeta ji can give you my mobile number. Please take it up, join up. And interestingly, I will also tell you that this is the current second batch going on. All the batches have been fantastic students. And we have students coming from different parts of Bombay. And this year we have a student who is coming from UAE also. Yeah. So it's a lady, I remember her name, Geeta, commitment. They're all big doctors, engineers. They're all leaders in their own space. Diamond merchants, Dr. Rajesh Doshi. So yes, but they understand that Chanakya is not just theoretical, it has to be applied. So yes, please join the course. And we'll be together for 2 years. Thank you.
Perfect. So I think most of us are all eager to join the course and become leaders. And this will be a beautiful blend of theory and practicals. And the assignments will be what you would like to do at your office. So it is
Yes,
not a homework,
yes, yes.
typically.
It
It
is
is
work,
work
work.
which, yes, perfect. Right said, right said. Very right said. So what you have to do is throughout your life, you have to continuously seek more, not just more things, but you have to seek more growth. And that is how, it will be a beautiful blessing of life for us. Now my next question goes to something which the youth want to ask, and more so the parents. You are the books you read, you are the films you watch, you are the people you meet, you are the conversations you hear, you engage with. So choose your friends wisely. So what would you like to advise the youth, or everybody for that matter, on having a good company,
Yeah. Okay.
in this sense, friends? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I have this particular formula which I always give to the youth. It is
Hmm.
called be friendly with everybody, but
Hmm.
choose your friends carefully.
Hmm.
Very, very important. So, don't have enemies. It unnecessarily makes you a little bit of a negative, because then you're competing. Competition is good in the sports field, okay? But after the sports is over, you have to have sportsman spirit. So, unfortunately, our education system is also about competition. But I believe today's
Hmm.
is a generation of collaboration. From
Right.
competition and comparison, you have to move to collaboration and cooperation. So, it's very, very important that all of us should understand that we need to go to the next level of competing with ourselves, not with somebody else. Okay.
Hmm.
So, my suggestion is that be friendly with everyone. Why have enemies and create problems?
Hmm.
So be friendly, but as you rightly pointed out, you are an average of the 5 people whom you surround yourself with.
Right. Right.
And in our Shastras, it is called satsang and kusang. Satsang
Hmm.
is basically the good people. Okay,
Hmm.
kusang means the
Hmm.
bad people. So if you
Hmm.
just get trained under somebody who is having this negative mindset, you will become negative. Do you know?
Right.
It is said that if the kind of antisocial elements of the
Hmm.
society want to
Hmm.
create a legacy, where they
Hmm.
would hire people from. There's a hiring process also. They go to the jails and the prisons. Because when they're young and suppose they have done some small theft, they go
Hmm.
there because already they are criminals, right? So they
Right.
the dunya, I see, this is how it is. So you join our team because the family sometimes doesn't accept him because of you've gone into prison for a small
True.
crime also. And then slowly they make them comfortable, and then you become a criminal. Now look at
Hmm.
the reverse side of it. If you have the right people with you, slowly they'll pull you and they'll make you
Hmm.
right. In my case, I've been
Hmm.
fortunate. I've
Hmm.
always had good friends, no
Hmm.
enemies, and friendly with everyone. That's very, very important. So what I'm saying is that why have negative vibes? Because competition
Hmm.
is dangerous. But be surrounded with those people who are
Hmm.
wiser than you, smarter than you, and of course, in Marathi, as we say, never be a kama purta mama, which means
Hmm.
I have benefited from all my friends. But when the friends require me, I don't go.
Hmm.
So you remember, a friend in need is a friend indeed, which means you have to be a good friend to find the good friends. So it's
Correct.
very, very important. How to choose good friends begins with how good you are as a friend. So
Right.
three tips from my side. First is that choose your friends carefully and be friendly with everyone. And yes, be a good friend. So others want to be in your company and follow the
Yes.
values of life. Thank you.
Right. Right. Very well said. Very well said. When you mentioned collaboration and cooperation, it reminded me of two more C's. That is, what is the relation between conviction and courage?
Wow.
And before he answers that, please note I will be taking questions from the viewers. So start typing. The moment he answers this question on conviction and courage, I will be taking up your questions. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. In fact, I would believe that conviction leads to courage.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So
Hmm.
conviction is the first step, and courage comes naturally. See, in
Hmm.
Sanskrit, conviction is called nishtha.
Hmm.
Okay. And
Hmm.
courage is called abhayam. Okay.
Abhayam.
Fearlessness.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So, a person who
Hmm.
is courageous, who is balawan. Okay. But
Hmm.
please understand, if you're not convinced about something, now you will
Hmm.
never have that courage.
Right.
So, how does conviction come? Please understand another scene.
Hmm.
Conviction is not compromise.
Hmm.
Okay. And
Hmm.
Swami Tejumananji, who afterwards became the head of Chinmaya mission after Chinmayananji left his body, he
Hmm.
said something very profound. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for everything.
True.
if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. So I'm very clearly convinced that, Chanakya works in my life, and then it works in everybody's life. And then when I'm convinced, I get the courage to go and speak to anybody and everybody, right? I'm on this particular platform. Any question can come. I'm not even,
Right.
fear. Why? Because I'm convinced. Now tell me one thing. Does your mother love you? Is it a doubt? You're convinced. And that's why you have the courage of saying that, this is my mother and I would like to serve my mother. Now multiply it at a national level. Okay. I'm convinced that I'm proud of being an Indian. And I'm courageous about talking about India globally. Whenever I go outside, there's this particular symbol of an Indian flag that I wear. And people are so happy. I'm saying that this is not symbolic, okay? This is outside, but inside I'm truly Indian. So any particular thing that you do, you have to be convinced. And believe me, you'll become fearless. Because if you fear others, you'll never get convinced. And a convinced person can achieve anything because he has got the courage to face any type of problems that will come. So be convinced, be courageous, and go and achieve your goal. That makes you a real champion. Thank you.
Whoa. I think with just a few minutes of your session, we are getting brilliant insights to actually, reshape our thoughts. If we join your course, I don't know, we will all become superpower in no time, all a country of all leaders. Fabulous, fabulous. So I will take questions from the viewers with your consent.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So thank you everybody for joining. Thank you. I will take a question from, everybody is showering you with lot of compliments. Thank you. No one can make. Yes, we have got Mr. Jai Singh Deshmukh. He says he will also share with Amravati University to introduce your leadership course there.
Wow.
Very nice. We have rural youth who are intelligent, but they don't have good communication skills. Right. So do you think that if a person doesn't have good communication skills, it should deter them to be leaders, or leadership overpowers all communication barriers? What do you think?
So the thing is that we take communication in a very, very different way in this particular country. Especially communication means spoken communication. Okay. And I feel very bad, especially in the rural areas, that people have this low confidence when they can't speak English. And especially those people who are trained in vernacular languages, they struggle a lot. Okay. And then there are so many English speaking classes, English speaking courses, and they feel belittled that, I've studied in my mother tongue.
Right.
So what is the problem in studying in Marathi or Malayalam? I know how to read Marathi, Malayalam, Sanskrit, and I also know English. So if you are having this particular problem that, I can't speak proper English, it's a matter of a skill. By practice, anybody can do it, but don't make it the goal in your life. Tell me one thing, if everybody can speak English, do you think they're successful?
Not necessarily at all.
So people think if you can speak English, then you are successful, especially in the rural. My goodness, it's dangerous. Communication is a packaging, but the production is good. So if I'm able to speak in good English, that's good, but I can speak good Marathi also, and Gujarati also, and Sanskrit also. But that's a skill you can acquire. Who can't learn any language? I mean, that you just get a good teacher, go some courses, and just practice it. Now I talk about, apart from the verbal communication, there are many forms of communication. Okay. What, for example, there are written communicators. Okay. You can't speak very well, you can write very well, right? Okay. Do you know you can go to Google and translate it also? So you write in Marathi and you can translate into English. So who stops you? In fact, all my books are available in almost 11 regional languages of India. But I don't know how to write in Bengali. Okay. It doesn't matter. So there'll be a team of experts. So what I'm saying is that if you can't speak well, that's a quality that you can acquire with practice. Secondly, right? If you can't speak well, and if there's a lot of people, especially I remember in our college day, there used to be a joke if you had to propose to a girl, and you used to feel very bad, that time there's no communication. Then we used to have this concept called as postman. I don't know if you know this kind of concept. So write a letter to the girl and the friend will go and give it to her, So your best friend is actually a postman. The idea is that if you can't speak it out, write it down. So this happens even in colleges. or it happens even in companies for that matter. I remember when Neeraj Pandey, the director who is making a film on Chanakya, Neeraj Pandey and me, in fact, yesterday we had a long discussion, so I'm involved. Ajay Devgan is a big star, in that we are working with him. So Neeraj Pandey first time called me and said, how much money you want to pay? So you can't ask the director of that level, how much money can you? But they said, definitely, we want to pay you, and you tell me how much you should be charging us. We'll budget it out. I didn't know, because it's like, you're going to a king and saying that, 10 rupees de do, rickshaw mein chutta nahi hai. So, so it's like, okay, I didn't know. Then he said something very nice. Neeraj is now a very good friend, of course. He said something, Dr. Saab, so he calls me doctor. So, doctor, if you can't verbally communicate, write a mail to me. So, wow. I said, wow, that makes sense, right? So I think it is not about money, but it also the communication. You go and do your homework, please call me up and tell this is what your charges are. But the reality is that he said, you understood my discomfort, For me, that project is my heart now. Chanakya movie. Imagine I'm writing the whole research, heading the research team. What a project. But if you put a number, you don't know. Especially a lot of youngsters, when they go for their first salary, they don't know how to ask. So I think that you can communicate in writing. So अगर बोलने को नहीं आता है तो लिखो, और लिखने को भी नहीं आता है, so use the help of a friend to communicate. Remember the postman story?
Yes.
What is communication? At the end of it, the message has to go. So there are types of communication, but the reality is that sometimes people over communicate and still miss the point. So there are a lot of people, they speak a lot, they're good English, but बाद में क्या बोल के गया समझ में नहीं आया.
Correct. Correct.
Just because you're a good speaker, it doesn't mean you're a good communicator.
Right.
Oh, understand, just because you're a good speaker doesn't mean you're a good communication is understanding what I have to convince or communicate, and also get a feedback what I wanted him to understand, whether he or she understood in the same way. So there is something called as a three-way communication. I told, okay, you understood the same thing, and you told me that you understood what I wanted to tell you. So 1, 2, 3. So there are different tools. So don't get worried about only the spoken communication. Okay, get into the written communication, and in one line, has the message reached the other person? And I'll tell you something, my dear friend. Sometimes the greatest way of communicating is silence.
If you don't understand my silence, how will you understand my words?
The guru and the Shishya relation is actually silent relationship. It's not the words. If you want to really communicate, be silent.
Right. Now, this is a question from me.
Wow.
Okay. What do you think is the major difference between a celebrity and a hero?
Wow. I heard this from one of my friends. Her name is Dr. Apurva Palkar. She's from Pune University. Good academician, friend of mine. She said something nice, and that stayed with me. And I think I've written in one of my books also about it. A celebrity is a famous person. Okay. Okay, so there are sports stars, film stars, and politicians also. Now they're all becoming celebrities. But it is said that for a celebrity, you'll never give up your life. You can follow them, you can like them, but you'll never die for them. But there's a hero. Hero is a person who actually gives you a vision for life, and you're ready to give up your life for your leader's vision. That's it. See, Mahatma Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, they were not celebrities, okay? They are also celebrities. They were famous, no doubt about it. But when Subhash Chandra Bose says, "Tum mujhe khoon do, main azadi dunga." See, or when Lokmanya Tilak says, Swaraj is my birthright and I should have it. Swaraj ha mada janma siddha adhikar and it temi milonarats. That hero's word. They're not celebrities giving you some impression on, getting some 10,000 people followers. And let me tell you, my dear friend, please don't consider popularity as success in your life. Please understand the impact the heroes make. And Narayan Murthy ji, in fact, we have worked with him in a couple of projects. So he said something very deep. He said, a leader is the one, when he announces, people are ready to walk on water. So, that's a hero. When Mahatma Gandhi says, quit India, okay? He was not a great communicator, by the way. If you even listen, he's not having this personality skills, simple dhobi, and even if you are simple dhoti, and even if you look at the kind of a handwriting that he had, even when you look at it, you actually had to decode his language. No, but remember, he had a conviction.
Right.
which should be communicated. Conviction, courage, communication. And if you have that conviction in an idea, you become a hero. Otherwise, you can become a celebrity, have followers, but finally, when you go to the personal life, you realize कि ऊपर का शोभाजी है. Never be a man person. Okay, show what you have through your communication. But remember, heroes are the people who can inspire a generation. People are to die for that cause. That's a hero, not a celebrity. Thank you.
Right. Right. Well said. When you said about Gandhiji, when you mentioned about Subhash Chandra Bose, when you mentioned about Chinmayanand Swami, Vivekanandji, we get goosebumps. Their words still resonate and touches our souls. I think they are the true heroes. I think this was a good question by me. Thank you. Okay. Another question from Miss Neha. When there are times in life to risk everything you currently have and venture into a difficult, uncertain road ahead, what option should one choose? People say always take risk, but in recession time, is it fine to risk security?
Okay, good question. So there is a very famous quote, I don't remember. It is said, in my life, I had a crossroads. Okay. So one is the path which took me to the road known, and the other one is an unknown path. And I choose the road less traveled, and I became successful. They're called path breakers. They start something new when they have no idea, So for example, I also, when I started to say Chanakya and all those things, people like, what is all these things? So it's an unknown path. So I think everybody comes to the crossroads of life. So most of us take that risk of, taking something which probably nobody else has done it. But I'll tell you now that after studying Chanakya, I said, don't just be a risk taker, be a calculated risk taker. So there's a big difference between taking risk and taking calculated risk. See, what happens is that's in the initial stages of your youth days, you can take some risk, because, you don't have much to lose, or not too many people are dependent on you. But as you grow in your life, especially when you have a family and if you're running a business, it becomes a larger family, hundreds of employees. You can't take a risk without calculations. Oh, okay, let me go and shut down the company and start something new. Oh my goodness, think about the 100 families. So what is important is that do your calculations, and that's where strategy comes in. So I say, work hard, but work smart. So don't just work hard, work harding is anyway, life, you have to keep working hard. But the smarter ones understand the process of taking risk. Do you know, if you study the life of Jeff Bezos, Amazon founder, he is an amazing case study of taking risk. But it is not just taking risk impulsively. It is a calculated risk. And there is a saying in the financial field called ROI, return on investment. He's got a concept called ROR, return on risk, which means I want to take the risk. Maybe, because he's got money, he says, I'm going to put 100 crores in this. But he's not wasting 100 crores. He's saying that if he does his calculations, okay, and he says, okay, after 100 crores, maybe I'll have to burn that cash for 8 years. Fine, because, they phase it out because big companies have that much, deep pockets and money. But they're still saying that after 100 crores, I'll make 1,000 crores. So it's a calculation. There's a science behind it. Okay, so all investment people know this. Now coming back to this COVID thing. Okay, now you're saying in this difficult time, should I take a risk? Okay, now it depends on your situation. I don't know your background, ma'am, so I will not be the right person to answer it specifically. But at the generic level, I can tell you that this is actually the best time to actually take calculated risk. Okay, because the whole world is under flux. So it's like the most beautiful experimenting period that you can ever have in your lifetime. Now, don't be afraid, because if it doesn't work, fine. But if it works, you are in a different league. Okay.
Correct.
So now coming to that, you have to experiment. Life is only about experiment. But as you grow mature, as you become more responsible, you can't afford to make too many mistakes. So for example, financially, okay. So today, if you have to take a risk, don't just take a big risk saying that, okay, let me calculate my finances. So let's say you're a working person and you become an entrepreneur. Okay. So you should look at, 6 months do I have the sustainability? Without me getting a salary for the next 6 months, at least my family can run, my electricity bill can be paid. So that's why, there is something called as a transition period in everything. So this transition period had to be very carefully planned out, strategically planned out, and to be very smart. Don't just jump over, then it becomes very impulsive. Chanakya says that, in transition period, do your calculation very clearly, especially your numbers calculation, your financial calculation. And let me tell you, if you get it right, you'll be proud of it. If you don't get it wrong, fine. If you get it wrong, it's okay. Go back. There are better things to do in life. But not trying and not taking the risk is the worst risk that you ever taken in your life.
So do take risk. Dr. Pillai, your
Yes,
screen is frozen. I think a refresh would be fine. Are you able to hear me, sir?
I'm able to hear you. 4 o'clock. You can hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you, but your screen is frozen.
Okay.
So thank you, Neha, for your question. And with your 2 questions, we have got amazing answers, different perspective, different layers of thoughts. So thank you so much. And I announce Neha as the best question Hangyo gift hamper winner. Right? So congratulations, Neha. Congratulations. So we will just wait for Doctor to rejoin. And thank you very much for your questions. Lots many people have joined. Fantastic. Rohit? I suppose all the questions you have mentioned have been answered very clearly by Dr. Pillai. Thank you so much for connecting with us. Do send your comments, suggestions to swaayambhu@gmail.com too. We'll just wait for sir to join. Thank you, Yogesh, for joining. Thank you, Meenal. Yes, Rohit. We will just wait for sir to join. Meanwhile, to just take a list of books he has authored: Corporate Chanakya, Chanakya's 7 Secrets of Leadership, Chanakya in You, Katha Chanakya, Thus Spoke Chanakya, Chanakya in Daily Life, Chanakya in the Classroom, Inside the Chanakya's Mind, Chanakya's Art of Getting Rich, Chatur Chanakya, Corporate Chanakya on Leadership, Corporate Chanakya on Management, The Art of War, Chanakya Niti, which is the #1 position bestseller, and How to Write a Book and Make it a bestseller too. So I think you must all check out which books are favorites. And I'm so glad that I mentioned the disclaimer and the notice, because once you listen to him, you definitely get addicted to his thought process. And I'm sure everybody is going to devour the books he has written. So all the best. We are just waiting for him to connect so that we can all thank him.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Your screen is not visible, sir.
Yeah, 1 second. I'll just. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible, but your screen is not visible.
Actually, I have put everything. You can see me now?
No, we can't.
Okay. So can we continue with the audio? I'm not sure why, because.
Okay, we'll continue with the audio. Wish we could have seen your smile too when we say thank you. So, if you are able to hear me,
I can hear you. I can't see you, but there are some technical issues.
Okay. So I would like to say thank you on behalf of all the aspiring Swaayambhus and the Swaayambhus here. One last message which you would like to give all the youth of the country. Any message you would like to share?
Yeah. So I think I have got 2 messages to share. Why 1? Okay. So the interesting part, Sangeeta, is that the first message has already been given by you. That is Swami Chinmayananji's. Youth are not useless, they're used less. Youth are not careless, they're cared for less. So I think the message is actually. Now I'm audible, ma'am?
Yes, you're audible. Yes.
Oh, okay. So my message now, as I told you, the second one is that, have a purpose in life. Okay.
Right.
So, it takes time, doesn't matter. But, look about it and say, what can I do that after I'm gone? Because everybody is going to die one day. I'm not trying to be negative about it, okay? Because we are having a limited time on this particular planet, okay? But think about it as if you're looking back at life. Maybe you're 80, 90 or 100 years old. When you look back at your life, you should feel satisfied, okay? And saying, I have done my little bit of work to keep this world better than what I found. Okay, so it's very important that you contribute to the world before you leave this world.
Right. Very well said. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much, Dr. Pillai. So have a purpose in life and contribute in whatever manner you can. Keep your mind stronger than your emotions.
Yeah.
I will definitely call you again to so that we have more insights from you. I think this is a signal that we need to connect again for another session.
100%, 100%. Happy to do that.
Right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We will meet tomorrow at 3 p.m. once again. We are going to have a beautiful guest, Jyoti Gorane, who is a celebrity singer. We are going to hear about her unconventional journey with her unconventional voice. So be there. And thank you, Doctor. Thank you once again. God bless. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Sangeeta ji. Jai Hind.